So this is kind of a blunder on my part, but I had a Sirena, and the front bearing on the motor was very bad. And I mean, you could hear it when you ran the machine, and I knew the front bearing was bad, but it's like when I looked at this machine, it did not appear serviceable. As you can see here, it had these like press washers or whatever the heck you would call these things. And I've been trying to get in contact with Sirena about just buying a new motor for this thing, because I mean, I'm not the original owner of it, but I mean, it's got problems and it doesn't appear serviceable. So I figured, well, I'll just see what the cost of it is and I'll go buy a new one and install it myself. Well, it's like after messaging them on Facebook, they told me to call this number, and I told the guy, I'm not the original owner, and he's like, oh well, to ship it down to us in Florida, it'd be, between that and the motor, it'd be about $400, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't need you guys to fix this for me. I can do it myself. I just need the actual motor. And he's like, oh, we don't sell the motor. I'm like, you don't sell the motor. It's like, really? This machine that's supposed to have like a 10-year warranty on its motor. And it's like, so, they're kind of projecting, that these are supposed to be long-living machines, kind of like Rainbow. Those have a good lifespan when they're well taken care of. So it's like, well, I've got nothing to lose. The motor's already starting to go out. So it's like, I may as well investigate this. And it started, I thought there was just one of these pressing everything together. So it's like, if I can get this off of here, it's like I should be able to disassemble this motor. Well, I was very incorrect about that. Because it's like, even after I got that first fan off, which because of the way it was put together, I had to tear apart the fan to be able to get that little locking washer off, or whatever. I'm just gonna call it a locking washer. It's easier for me. I thought maybe it is screwed on there. Maybe it's a nut with a weird shape. So I tried to disassemble the back of this first. Yeah, it got to a point where it's like, well, there's no going back. So this is what it looks like, right? So, well, that, and there'd be a cooling fan on the back of it. So, I got the cooling fan off, I got this thing off, and then I'm sitting here looking for the bolts that would go down into the motor here, right? And it's like, I can't find anything, and then it's like, once I finally got the other fan off, excuse me, all I saw was these. And I thought to myself, oh my god, these are rivets. So I wore away at one of them, thinking, that it would eventually give way, if they were rivets, but yeah, it wasn't working. So it's like, well, it's like I can't, I kind of thought too, maybe this is clipped on here. And it most certainly was not, because this is actually where the bolts screw into. They actually screw in backwards from your usual Amtech motors. So yeah, it wasn't until after I had done that, because it still wasn't, or rather, once I cut through there, I discovered, that, oh no, so there has to be some sort of way to, has to be some sort of way to access this. Of course, with these press washers, it doesn't matter, because you would never be able to get here without removing all the other stuff from it, which you can't really do, again, because of the stupid press washers. And yeah, it's like, I knew it wasn't really fixable after a point, so it's like, oh, I've got nothing to lose. I just want to see how this thing is kind of put together. And check out how small the bearing is on the back here. That's weird. They usually use like one size on here. And this seems like it's a little bit bigger than the 608, maybe the 6, oh, I forget what they were. Maybe a 6220 or something like that? It seems like the ones that's on my central vacuums, but you know, in thinking about this unit and in talking about it with another collector, water units are some of the most susceptible to bearing damage, you know, and it's usually due to lack of care or, you know, misuse. It's not like, you know, they're just, you know, if you treated them well, they would last a while. But when you put out a unit that has a 10-year motor warranty, it gives you the idea, you know, that the motor in here is robust and should last quite a while, which I don't know how this unit was treated beforehand. You know, I mean, it was kind of dirty, the front fan, and I got that cleaned out, and then after getting it back together, I realized, well, this sounds like shit. You know, I don't think I had really run it for very long before I had done the clean out, but you know, it's like, why would you build a water filtration unit and then put a non-serviceable motor in it? And then on top of that, you don't even sell a replacement motor for it. And it's like, because this is an Italian Amtech, I'm also having a really hard time finding a possible replacement for it. So, I don't know. It's like, I suppose, you know, I'll get in contact with Amtech themselves just to see if I can get a replacement motor. Because, I mean, I would like to see what the Sirena is capable of. But it's kind of unacceptable to me that a unit in this price range, because they run about $900, and then they put a non-serviceable motor in it? Really? You know? You can get things that are a lot cheaper that'll have a serviceable motor. But this is what they decide to put in here. And it's like, I like the Italian Amtech motors I've come across. My Henry has one in it, and my Lux Legacy upright has one in it. That one was fitted into it by me to try to make it a little bit more powerful than the stock motor. But, you know, those I've had really good luck with. But, you know, I also know that those are more serviceable than these. And, you know, if this unit was $300, maybe $400, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. But an $800 vacuum? Something in the price range of like a, you know, a low-end, you know, power nozzle Miele, or maybe even, you know, kind of in SIBO or Lindhaus territory. Not canister-wise, generally. But, you know, you can get a much more robust unit than this. And it's like, just working on this thing was kind of a nightmare the whole way around. I mean, the actual unit itself wasn't difficult, you know, especially once you've done it. But, you know, I've had this apart before for cleaning. So, I mean, it wasn't that bad this time around. And it helps that the screws are mostly all the same size, too. So, I mean, that's nice, but this motor is just, I don't like it.